All right, so I'm about to show you why 90% of real estate agents running through their marketing budget on Facebook ads that will never get a single list. Hear me out, as today I'm going to go in and simply break this down and explain why and how you can actually improve this by the end of this video. So as we can all see, you see ads everywhere like this in terms of home buyer evaluation or seller ads, and basically with stock photos of a house or some sort of generic form, as you can see in this case. And I'm actually going to go ahead and show you on the Facebook ads library some of these examples. Or actually, you can kind of go ahead and see some of these that I actually took from today's Facebook library. And you can see some of these are kind of like this in terms of all these static images, as you can see, which are not very good, especially in 2025, and how having a personal approach is going to be the better way in order to advertise, especially on these meta platforms like this. So I'm going to go in and reiterate that later, but now I'm going to kind of go in and show you the concept of what I want to break down and kind of explain to you how you can improve these results on Facebook. So first pillar is going to be the traditional real estate marketing that's broken. I'm going to explain you why this is. Second pillar is the 2025 market reality. The third pillar is going to be the 3-layer solution that I had basically implemented and broken down as a blueprint to take out of today. And then the fourth one is how to execute. And the fifth one is new results that will be generated once executed with this simple blueprint to have in place for running ads, so you don't waste any of your hard-earned money on running ads on these platforms like this. Let's start with the traditional real estate marketing system that agents are currently using today that is currently broken and why this should shift it. And I'm not saying all agents, but I'm just saying for the ones that are just running generic static ads, that's in 2025, like that's not going to get you a listing, and there's way better ways to improve those metrics. All right, so as you can see from this, agents are spending at least $500, $1,000, sometimes even $2,000 a day on ads like this in terms of the static ads, and why they're not getting quality leads in this case. So the problem isn't the budget, and the problem isn't Facebook. The problem is just you're advertising to the wrong people at the wrong time, the wrong message. So stay with me here as I'm going to flip everything and how you think about real estate advertising, especially in 2025. So as you can see from here in this example in the red in terms of pillar 1, here's what every real estate coach and guru has been teaching for the past 5 years. Step 1, you run ads to cold traffic. Step 2 is you simply offer a free home evaluation. Step 3 is that you hope that they book the listing appointment once you have ran the ads on Facebook. They basically have worked in 2019, it worked in 2020, and even in 2021 when money was cheap and everyone buying and selling because of that. A little bit of a transition after that whole COVID stage. So people were getting stimulus checks and the whole market economy was just super different back then. But in 2025, the whole approach is dead, and here's why. So as you can see here, this is 1025 current market reality in this case. So the real estate market has fundamentally changed, where most agents are still marketing like it's 2021. In 2021, there was lower interest rates, there were bidding wars, but now in 2025, in these home selling days, there's higher rates, there's selective buyers, and there's actually a longer decision side this case. Because at the end of the day, buying home is a big decision that someone has to make financially too. So the old mindset was, I'm thinking about selling. New mindset is, I'm not sure if I should sell in this current market, because in certain market conditions, there's higher inventory. Others, maybe it's a little bit more in the middle in terms of that aspect. It's very different, and it's kind of a case by case, but in terms of the whole economy globally in the United States, it definitely super different compared to 2021 and 2022. Like I said, in 2021, sellers were just confident, ready to move, needs evaluation. Now in 2024, now you have uncertainty in terms of this aspect for sellers or buyers. They need more education, and they want more market insights as to when the buyers sell and if this is the right decision to make at this right time. So when you run ads like your get home free evaluation, you're speaking to 2021 sellers, but in 2025, sellers are thinking, why would I want to know my home value if I'm not sure if I should even sell it in this case? So now, again, to reiterate, let me actually show you what's happening with these ads that are currently being ran. So as you can see right here, you can kind of go through, see this little screenshot of this Facebook ads library that I mentioned. With these static ads, the click-through rate would be somewhere around 0.8% into industry average. Cost per lead would be around maybe 45 to 80 per lead. The lead quality would be 90% unqualified. Listing conversions at less than 1%. Showing you the math, if you essentially put $1,000 on ad spend on Meta, you divide that by $60, cost per lead is going to be 16 leads, which 16 times 1% conversion is a 0.16 listing per month in this case. So you're spending $1,000 to get one listing every 6 months in this case. That's $6,000 per listings in ad spend alone on this meta platform. So now, as you can see, that's a huge issue in terms of running just a regular static ad that has no, conviction or conversions in terms of what you're doing, and even building that personal brand or establishing that rapport and speaking to the right audience in this case. So the deeper problem is you're interrupting people who aren't ready to sell, and you're trying to force them into a sales conversation. When you run these type of static ads, it's like walking to someone at Starbucks and saying, hey, I want to sell you a house, and they're not in that mindset. So let's actually go in and kind of show you what is the solution to this, and we call this the 3-layer solution. So Instead of asking someone for the sale, we provide value first. And obviously, you're probably wondering, like, that's the obvious thing to do, of course. But instead of targeting people ready to sell, we target people who should sell but don't know yet. So the layer one is market educational content. So the ad concept behind this is just providing value and being educational in terms of this whole ad that you essentially run. It's a good way to nurture prospects and have them long term. So when they're at that point of buying or selling in that stage, then you're on top of mind in terms of you being the first one that you educated on how to go about the selling process of this. So instead of get your free valuation, try something like 3 signs as your great time to sell in Las Vegas or in New York. Why? Another one could be like, why waiting until spring might cost K. A last concept that you could say is something like the hidden cost of staying in your current home. So these are just examples of how you can run an ad like this that'll hook somebody in terms of them just educating them more in terms of the concept of, buying in terms of selling a home and how to kind of go about that aspect. So these ads could honestly get you probably a 3x or 4x higher engagement because you're providing valuable information and you're not asking for something. So layer 2 is going to be authority building. Once they engage with your educational content, you follow up with, market trends, neighborhood analysis, success stories, without being salesy in this case. The whole process is to build trust. You're not selling, you're becoming their trusted market advisor. And this is good because they can always continue to keep watching your content. Personal branding is going to be huge in 2025 and so on. So having, a good personal brand, whether that's on Instagram, YouTube, or even TikTok these days, it's very good for establishing trust and rapport because people watch your content, whether that's different social media platforms. You kind of put them in an ecosystem where you're nurturing them long term. So they're always going to be on top of mind when they think of you. Layer 3 is going to be the natural transition. So after consuming your content for weeks, they naturally think this person knows their market. So I should probably talk to them about my situation, obviously. So they reach out to you instead of just chasing them. And that's how you create a sort of ecosystem and environment in terms of your leads where you're not chasing leads, you're essentially attracting the right people. And because you have your content established and you're educating them on all different pillars on payments. So you naturally just become the right person, especially in their current market. Now, let me show you exactly how you're going to go about executing this and how to set this up. So your ad creative strategy in this case is going to be a hook formula of problem to curiosity plus global relevance in your current market demographic. Now, a bad example of this is going to be like thinking of selling, get your free home evaluation. Don't do something generic or basic like that. A good example would be like if you bought your, let's say, New York home for 2020, this market shift could cost you $75,000. That's kind of a good way to bring curiosity, a little bit of urgency, but a little bit just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I did buy my home around 2020. It's like, okay, maybe I should look into why this could potentially cost me $75K. This is a great way in terms of curiosity, but still opening up people that are in that particular situation in terms of this conversation. So content types are going to work in this case are going to be market trend breakdowns, neighborhood spotlights, should I sell now, decision framework case, hidden cost calculator, timing strategy guides, and also targeting strategy as well too. Strategy content. So instead of people interested in selling home target, you could target people like homeowners, 5+ years in current home, people who engage with mortgage content, life event triggers, so like job changes, family growth, specific neighborhoods with high appreciation, and you can have follow-up sequences basically embedded in place. So week 1 is essentially going to be market education. Week 2 is going to be neighborhood insights. Week 3 is going to be success stories, social proof. Week 4 is going to be decision frameworks, and week 5 is soft CTA for consultation. So this is a good way to be very organic in how you go about your marketing, but not coming off in a very salesy way or buy home evaluation type of case. Now, the results with this is that you basically run the same budget, but you get a higher engagement, which is equal basically to a lower cost per click. You get educational content which basically equal to higher quality of leads because people are actually engaged content. They're actually building a rapport with them. People are actually getting to know the face behind your brand and everything that you do and you as a person, which is very good. Trust building, which is equal to higher conversion rate, and results in this aspect, especially doing it organically, can go to at least 3 to 5 qualified listings per month if you do it the right way. Because now you're essentially just building an content ecosystem where you're attracting the right people that are ready to buy or sell in their current, situation at the moment. That's what you want to build. You don't want to be tired of chasing leads. I get it. I mean, that's the job essentially in what you're doing. But creating a sort of content ecosystem where you can nurture prospects, educate them until they are at their right time in terms of their current situation, whether they're going to buy or sell, is a great way to go about it because then people are just naturally going to come to you because you have provided so much value up front that you'll naturally be able to get at least 3 to 5 qualified listing appointments per month just off of organic, especially in 2025 and so on. Like doing things organically and having a personal brand, people People buy from people that they know and that they trust, and that's the whole point of building this essentially in this case, or even just running it as an ad. So to kind of help you out with this, you can actually use an ad library tool. It's a Chrome extension, very simple to use. You just download the Chrome extension. Anytime you're in a Facebook ad library, you can be able to go in and save ad creatives that you think are going to be useful in terms of you wanting to either replicate it or kind of embed it in place in terms of looking at good creatives to use. A lot of people in the business industry use this as well too. So you can use this, especially if you're a realtor. It's going to help a lot in terms of you actually being able to go in, save any ads that essentially that you like in terms of the creative aspect, break down to see the performance as well too. Now, this is an example of what a bad static ad example is. So as you can see, this person, no offense to them, this is what they did. And this is what I just found at the ad library. But all they did was they just put a flyer of their get home free evaluation, fast and easy, market value, and it literally just a graph like this. Honestly, that's, in my personal opinion, that's terrible. That's not something that I would run for my clientele, especially in 2025. Even just looking at it, there's like no engagement, there's no rapport. It doesn't really scream at me. Like I wouldn't want to click on this. So a good example of a static ad in this case, these are actually some of the ones that we run for some of our clients. Mind you, we don't focus primarily on static ads just because we prefer video ads that builds a lot more trust and rapport. But we do run static ads just because that a lot of the data that we get in and see what works and what doesn't. But these are like a great example that we're currently running for some of our clients right now. Essentially, just the imagery is just way better. You could tell there's a huge difference compared to this. It's a lot more colors, a lot more vibrant to it. The copy aspect in terms of their name and information of the realtor as well too is speaking towards a market demographic. As you can tell, this realtor is from New York. So this is a good example to kind of just implement and use if you were to create your own static ads on Facebook as well too. So just be aware of that as well in terms of this aspect. And yeah, don't be like this guy, right? He's no offense, just trying to just help any realtor out. So look, honestly, at the end of the day, I can keep going about this topic for hours. I like actually going in and breaking things down and seeing what we can improve in terms of metrics, performance, in terms of ads, especially for realtors. But here's what I basically want you to kind of take away at the end of the day. Stop interrupting people who aren't ready to sell. Honestly, just start educating people who should sell but don't know how yet in this case. That's the whole point and the whole concept of this video is just to educate. You're naturally going to build a nice core. You know, the agents who will make this shift are the ones who dominate in 2025 and beyond. Personal brand is going to be educating and nurturing prospects. You know, having a good personal brand to you is going to be super valuable in how you carry everything. Now, if you want help implementing this exact same strategy that we essentially run for our clients, for the creatives, the concept of the targeting, to the follow-up sequences, you know, even to the whole systemized approach, being able to, you know, get more leads in terms of not only running, you know, meta ads, but providing a sort of systemized approach to your business to where you basically have no, you know, leaks behind follow-up and stuff like that. Click below to book a strategy call. I'm basically going to be breaking down more strategies like this in terms of this aspect, and just let me know what sort of concepts of videos that you want embedded in place. So remember, in a market where everyone is basically shouting, buy my stuff, the person providing genuine value is going to win every single time. So until then, thank you so much. Hope you have found a lot of value from this video, and take care.